These talented young people are playing a kind of music that has withstood the test of time. Its beauty is something special, but even more important is the fact that this group of young people is discovering how special chamber music can be. Today on Austin Faith Dialogue, we take a look at a local group whose mission is to bring the beauty of chamber music to the young, old, and even in between here in the capital city.
This is Austin Faith Dialogue, a public affairs program discussing the important crossroad of religion and life, produced by the Austin Metropolitan Ministries in cooperation with KTVC-TV. Austin Faith Dialogue highlights the interaction of the religious community with the social and cultural issues throughout our area. Now, today's edition of Austin Faith Dialogue.
We're currently in the midst of the holiday season, and so you're probably looking to find the perfect gift for family and friends. Well, today we're going to look at the special gift of music and how one local organization is passing on that gift to our youth. It's called the Austin Chamber Music Center. It is a nonprofit organization founded in 1981 that mixes the teaching of the music to the young with scheduled performances in a variety of settings. Before we begin our discussion with today's guest, let's lend an ear to the following selection. It's the Trio No. 1 by Haydn, performed by flutist Aaron Sladen, cellist Allison Harris, and pianist Ellie Grigsby, and was taped at the First United Methodist Church. Now joining us to talk about the Austin Chamber Music Center is its director and a member of its board, Felicity Coltman. Welcome, Felicity.
Thank you.
We're delighted to have you join us this morning.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you.
I'm just was really impressed with the performance of the young people. It's really beautiful music.
They do play very well, yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about where chamber music comes from, about its origin, what it is?
Well, chamber music, by definition, is something that should be played in a chamber or a small room. And historically, it was played in homes, or at least in castles, homes of dukes and kings who were the patrons of the arts in the 16th or 17th and 18th centuries in Europe. And because there are only a few players, you don't really want a really large area because then you lose the intimacy of the performance. It now means to be played in a room, in a small church, in a small setting. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that's important about chamber music is that each person plays one part. In an orchestra, you have a number of first violinists and a number of cellos and that sort of thing. But in chamber music, you have one person on a part and without a conductor.
Mm-hmm. So the intimate setting is really the place where you get a wonderful feel for the music.
That's right, yes.
And how intimate is the relationship established between the performers and the audience? Can you talk some about that?
Well, the audience is able to see the performers with everything that they do. We know when in a large auditorium, if they're sitting on the stage, you can't really see some of the small things that happen. But in an intimate setting like this, the audience is able to watch the connections that the musicians have with one another. There's a lot of eye contact and breathing together and just feeling the music together.
Yes.
And I think this is very important.
So generally, how large is the setting in which chamber music is played? I mean, about how many members of the audience generally fill a place?
Well, ideally, I think it should be under 100 people.
Uh-huh.
But of course, it's possible to have it with more. In fact, just recently we had a concert with 150 people in the audience, and it was wonderful. It still worked very well.
Good.
But I think if you're starting to talk about a couple of thousand, then it doesn't work.
Yes, you lose it. Mm-hmm. You have a lovely accent.
Thank you.
Can you tell us where you're from? And
well, I grew up in South Africa and was trained there and lived there until I was married. And then we lived in Zambia for several years and then moved to America 27 years ago. We've been living in Austin for 25 of those years.
Uh-huh. And so you brought the love of chamber music with you when you came?
Oh, yes, definitely.
And as director, as founder of the Austin Chamber Music Center. Tell us a little bit about that, how that happened.
Well, I'd always loved chamber music and had always played it, and two of my children were playing stringed instruments while they were growing up, so we were always playing, and then I would be playing with their friends, and they would have gatherings at my home. I'm a pianist and I teach piano lessons, and I've always felt that pianists are lonely people. Because string players and woodwind players do have the opportunity to play in bands and orchestras, which gives them some interaction with other students, but pianists always are doing everything by themselves. And I've always encouraged piano duets and some kind of ensemble work, and so I got the idea of getting a lot of students together to play chamber music in small ensembles, and we've had a wonderful response. Our very first workshop in 1981 had about 60 students. And we said, well, we'll do it again next summer. And everybody said, no, let's continue during the year as well.
So you hear how long before you actually were able to have your first performance?
I suppose it was about, do you mean before the chamber music center started? I'd lived here about 4 or 5 years. I had my youngest child was quite small then, so I was busy with her.
Well, certainly it's Austin's gain to have you in this lovely effort.
Well, we feel it's something that's very, very important, because one of the things that worries me is that a lot of music is competitive. The children are always entering competitions. Even in orchestras and bands, they're competing for sitting in a certain seat and for being the best, and then they compete to go on to All-State, and wonderful, wonderful experiences like that. But it does put this edge of competition onto music all the time. And with chamber music, we just don't let that happen. We've put old students with young students and more advanced ones with less advanced ones. And we never really consider what level of advancement they are. I mean, obviously, we do match the abilities, but we try to keep the competitive aspect out of it. And also, for a professional musician or potential professional musician, chamber music training is essential, because it's so demanding. You have to be responsible for your own part. You have to listen to everyone else. You become aware of the problems that other instruments have, which you don't necessarily become aware of in other situations. For example, something that's easy to play on the piano might be difficult to play on the violin, and vice versa. And the tuning problems of different instruments become obvious. And this is something that, as I say, just really helps the potential professional musician, and quite a few of our students have gone into music as a profession. But equally important, I think, is the fact for is the situation for the students who are not going to become professional musicians, because this is a way for them to then continue their music all the way through their lives. Once again, as a soloist, with children who are encouraged to enter into competitions, when they grow up, very, very, very few of them are going to become soloists. So it's hard to keep up their solo playing, and not many instrumentalists will go and play in orchestras if they're not professional musicians. And
so how do you get your young people and get them involved with the Austin Chamber Music Center?
There is a network, I suppose, of children. Our former students recommend other students to come to us. We go around to the schools and we make presentations, sometimes with our students, and sometimes we show videos, or we talk to the students about what we do. We send letters out to the teachers. We have a number of private teachers and school teachers in the city who have supported us over the years, because they realize the value of the work that we're doing.
Yes. I understand that it is a non-profit organization.
That's right, yes.
And how do you get your funding?
Well, we have a membership drive, which we've had for several years, which has been wonderful. We have members in different categories, starting at $35, and members get certain privileges. They receive a newsletter, and they receive discounted tickets, tickets to our concerts. And this helps to support the funds. We also get money from the City of Austin under the auspices of the Arts Commission. I should say it the other way around, it's the Austin Arts Commission.
Yes.
And they help to support our summer workshop every year. And we also have had wonderful support from the Stillwater Foundation. And then some of our special projects are supported by different groups. Texas Composers Forum has helped us.
Okay, well, we appreciate that. We have to take a short break now. When we come back, we will be joined by 2 students studying chamber music, and we'll discover why. Before we take our break, let's enjoy another selection from an even younger group that plays for the Austin Chamber Music Center. Violinist Calvin Sang, cellist Mikal Raisin and pianist Michelle Lee will play the Kurt Scherzo, said that wrong, from the trio in B-flat bicolor.
Serving Austin means serving you. Each day, Austin Metropolitan Ministries is Religion in Action, providing affordable housing, caring for the elderly, marching against hunger, and much more. AMM promotes understanding, cooperation, and social involvement. So when we ask for your help, we're really asking to help you, Austin. To find out how you can help Austin Metropolitan Ministries help Austin through its member organizations, just call 472-7627.
We're back on Austin Faith Dialogue with today's topic, the Austin Chamber Music Center. Now joining us are two students who study chamber music at the center. We're joined by 15-year-old Ellie Grigsby, who you may remember from our first chamber music selection. And also with us is clarinetist Tanaya Sunbury. Thank you both for joining us. It was very beautiful music that you all played, Ellie. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved with chamber music?
Well, I take piano lessons with Felicity Holtman, and she suggested it to me, and so I just signed up one semester, and I've been playing it for about maybe 3 years, I think.
About 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
And you like it a lot?
Yeah, I do.
What about it is most satisfying or rewarding for you?
Well, it's a lot different from playing solo piano. I think the best thing about it is learning how to blend with other instruments, and well, playing with other instruments itself is nice. So that's the thing I like best.
And Tanaya, you're a clarinetist.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about what, well, first, I guess, how long have you been with the Austin Chamber Music Center?
Oh, for about 4 years now.
About 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you got involved in what way?
My instructor, Miss Amy Blair, she asked me if I had anything to do for the summer and signed me up. So, and I've been with it ever since.
Sounds great. Well, tell me, what instruments are generally a part of a chamber music ensemble?
Well, for woodwind, it would be flute, oboe, clarinet, bassoon, and you could have a French horn. That would be a quintet. Quartet, get rid of the French horn. And then, you know, there's lots of groups with woodwinds. I've been with some strings. I love playing with strings. You know, it's really different because once you're in a band, there's just band instruments. But you don't really get to see, you know, the other side of, just music instead of just the band. And I played with some strings and clarinet ensembles, just clarinets. And let's see, I think that's about it. Yeah, just duets with the flute and clarinet, piano, some other plus. So, you know, it's just varied, very diversified.
What kinds of activities are coming up that you all are going to be involved in?
Well, we play concerts or recitals every semester, and sometimes, like once I played at a retirement home, and I think that there's a concert on Lake Travis Island, and also sometimes the Chamber Music Center plays at the AIDS benefit concert, and that's a lot of fun. And Tanai and I played there.
Yes, I noticed. I was looking through some of the literature, and I saw that there are, not only is there the intimate setting that you all play in, but you also play benefits for places like nursing homes and then the AIDS benefit concerts.
You're really surprised how many people are you know, who weren't, you know, musically, I guess, inclined when they were young, who want to hear and listen to music. And, you know, people come in concerts and we go to them and they really enjoy it. And that makes me feel, you know, really, you know, it makes my, well, I guess you would call it a job, I guess, but, you know, more fulfilling to know that I'm giving somebody, you know, a piece of music, and I really like that.
That's wonderful. And this special Christmas time as we close is really a wonderful time for chamber music concerts, isn't it? Well, listen, before, we're going to have to stop now, but before we go, let's take a look at some of the upcoming events of the Austin Chamber Music Center. For more information about these concerts or how your child can become a member of this special organization, just call this number, 454-7562. I'd like to thank our guests, Felicity Coleman, Ellie Grigsby, and Tanaya Sunbury, for joining us today. I also want to thank the other members of the Austin Chamber Music Center for sharing their special gift of music with us today. Finally, with Christmas just 5 days away, we want to wish you and your family our warmest holiday wishes from all of us who work on the Austin Faith Dialogue. And as a gift to you, we want to share one final selection of beautiful music from some very talented young people. Merry Christmas.